Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So behind me I have a 2019 Hyundai Elantra with a 2.0 liter, and the customer issue is that the car is randomly shutting off on him and it doesn't have a check engine light or anything. Now I've gone ahead and diagnosed it. Even though the check engine light wasn't on, there was some stored codes for camshaft sensors, and I went ahead and I tested the camshaft sensor and I verified that one of them is being lazy. I mentioned this to the customer and he opted to replace both intake and exhaust camshaft sensors just while I'm in there. So let's go ahead and proceed and get started on this thing. But before we do so, if you guys haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe down below, guys. Definitely helps the channel grow. So let's go ahead and start on replacing these camshaft sensors. So where we're going to begin with this, guys, is start off by removing this top hat on the engine. A lot of engines have these. They're just there for show. Usually make stuff look pretty. They come off pretty easy. You just got to pull on them. They have these little nubs and these little holders that hold it in place there, like a little ball and cup socket. Once you get that out of the way, you're probably looking and wondering where's the camshaft sensors, and it's quite easy. They're going to be located right here and right here. Now this back one is kind of hard to see because this hose is in the way, but you can clearly see this is our intake cam sensor and this is our exhaust cam sensor. Just so you guys can see it a little bit better, I'll go ahead and grab you guys and show you, and you'll see intake camshaft sensor and then our exhaust camshaft sensor. This one is a little bit hidden because this hose is in the way. We're going to go ahead and start off by removing that. So let me get a couple tools going here and I'll show you guys the process. So I have you guys set up in the most effective way so you guys can see what I'm doing here. And where I'm going to begin, guys, is I'm going to take my hose clamp pliers and I'm actually going to be removing the hose clamp and this hose here, just trying to get it out of the way. Because this hose is really blocking me. Now, I don't know why they set this hose clamp all the way in the back end, but either way, it's easy enough to just get off. The only thing you got to be careful with these is making sure that you don't break the hose. Even though this car is fairly new and these hoses are very malleable, sometimes they do get frozen on there like this one is. Now, what I do in a situation like this, I try to take some pliers. Now, my hose clamp pliers couldn't do it, but I take some pliers that have like a little circular cutout, and what I do is I'll just twist the hose back and forth. That should be enough to break the suction, and you guys can see it comes off fairly easy after that. So we're gonna go ahead and tuck it down in there, and now we got a lot of access. So these are both the same exact sensor. There's no real differentiator. Whether you're changing the exhaust intake or the exhaust one, guys, they're both the same. You're gonna go ahead and push down the connector tab and just pull off on the connector. Go ahead and get that off. They're actually very easy to do so. And then all we have is one 10mm bolt right here up front on this one. And then you just wiggle your sensor out and they come off just like that. Usually you'll find that these may have oil coating on them or a little bit of material, like metallic material. And it's normal because this is a magnetic sensor. So if you see any crud on there, it's kind of normal, but you shouldn't have a lot. Now, I take my new sensor that I have here. We got an original OEM sensor, and I just kind of take my finger, get some oil on it from inside the valve cover, and I go ahead and I coat my O-ring in there before I slide it in, just to kind of make it easier to slide in there, and it also doesn't tear the seal before I, install it or anything of that nature. So that's how we do the intake one. And the exhaust is the same exact thing. We're just going to take off our 10mm and just kind of wiggle it out of the way. And just to show you guys, it is the same exact sensor, same exact thing. And we're gonna go ahead and take this one out, and then we grab our new one, which is right here. Same thing, oil the O-ring. You don't gotta go nuts with it. You just wanna have some sort of lubrication so you don't tear it as you insert it. Because if you try to go in there dry, sometimes the O-ring can roll or it'll tear up and you're not going to get an effective seal, and then you're going to have an issue. So I just take my gun and go ahead, just tighten it up. Now these don't take a lot of torque, guys. Keep it on minimal setting, and then go ahead and reconnect them. Make sure you hear the click. That'll tell you it's connected. The one trick that I always do is I always like to pull on them just to make sure that everything is tight. And then what we're going to do is go ahead, take our hose that we took off, and we are going to grab our pliers here that we have on the bench. and we are going to just reinstall our clamp. Now, I try to put the clamps back in the same exact position they were in. So I'm gonna go ahead and twist this. I know it sucks probably for the next guy that has to work on it, whether that guy is me or somebody else, but you know, I try to leave things as they were. And then what I'm gonna do is just take my brake cleaner and just clean up any sort of oil drips or drops that we might have put in there as we pulled out our old sensors. And I usually like to take a little bit of shop air, guys. Now this is gonna be very loud on camera, but after I douse my brake cleaner here, I'm just gonna go ahead and blow this off real quick. That way I can clean up my area, and it basically looks like it's never been touched aside from the two brand new sensors. Now, once you've gone ahead and you've replaced them and everything is connected, and I always like to just double check, make sure everything is tight, you're gonna go ahead and take your engine cover and go ahead and place it back on there, and you gotta press firmly and you'll hear it pop, and that'll basically be the install on this. So that's how you replace camshaft sensors on a 2.0 Hyundai Kia motor. Alright guys, so that is how we do our camshaft sensors for the intake and the exhaust on a Hyundai or Kia 2.0 liter engine. Now, the Hyundai Kia 2.0 is basically the same. Hyundai Kia are one parent company. They just make two different car models or two different car lines. But virtually they're exactly the same. You can go ahead and do this process to a Hyundai or a Kia with the same exact engine. They all follow the same exact specs. So with that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully this helps you out if you guys are doing this particular repair or something similar to this. I always want to say, please comment, like, and subscribe, guys. It definitely helps my channel grow, and I'm very appreciative if you could. And with that said, hopefully you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys on the next repair.